In a world filled with tension and uncertainty, Arianna finds herself caught in a struggle involving supernatural forces. Her boyfriend Xavier is a werewolf, and she herself is drawn into the conflict between werewolves and hunters. But when Xavier's brother Xander appears, claiming they have a plan, can Arianna trust them? Will Xander's plan really allow them to escape danger? Want more werewolf stories? Subscribe to us and become a part of this mysterious world. Chapter 16 Taken. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined being kidnapped. Because it's just so. Klitsch. It makes my life seem like it's one of those sappy, overdramatic love stories you find in a book or watch on the television. My life is not some overdramatic story, it's reality, and I can't believe that Trevor of all people had anything to do with this. But it seems like he played a major role in it. Trevor's always been a sweetheart to everybody. He's always been the one person everyone felt they could tell their deepest, darkest secrets to. I never once would have thought Trevor would have done anything to hurt anyone, least of all someone he's claiming to be in love with. Apparently I was wrong, though. If anyone, I could have imagined Duncan doing something like this, but never Trevor. And then there's Xavier. Because there is absolutely, positively no doubt in my mind that whoever has decided to kidnap me is doing it to get to Xavier. For whatever reason. Because really, why else would they? I know I can be a bitch to people, but I try not to piss anyone off too badly. I don't think I've ever angered anyone enough to make them want to kidnap me to get revenge. But hell, who knows anymore? For all I know, my dad could be behind all of this. My biggest concern right now, though, is what exactly they think kidnapping me will get them, either way. If they did in fact do this to get to Xavier, what do they think will come of it? I don't see him as the type to take the bait, no matter what it is. But, what Xander and Xavier told me this morning has me wondering if he won't do something drastic to get to me, and I don't like the thought. I don't want him getting hurt because of me, I really don't. Arianna. My God, Trevor, what did they do to her? My eyes squeeze shut tighter at the sound of Nessa's high-pitched voice and I groan at the pain in my head. Wait a minute, what the hell would Nessa be doing here? Wherever here even is. Arianna. Are you awake? No, I'm dead. Now go away. I grimace at the dryness of my mouth, suddenly wondering just how long I was out and why I can't seem to move my arms or legs. And why would you ask someone if they are awake if you think they are not? Because if they are asleep, it's not like they are going to give you an answer. Why am I even thinking about this now? Hun, I hate to break it to you. But if you're talking to me, you're not dead. And I suggest you decided to wake up before but Face comes back. But Face? Nessa's only called one person, but Face, and that person scares the hell out of me. Nessa, that's my father you're talking about. Trevor sighs from somewhere in the room or wherever the hell we are and I roll my eyes. Who cares if it's his father she's talking about? All I care about right now is getting out of here and going home. So. Your dad kidnapped us, Trevor. And it's not my fault he looks like a complete ass. Besides, do you honestly think I wanted to wake up and see that in my face? I'm going to have nightmares now because of him. Will you two just shut the hell up? What does it matter if Trevor's dad looks like an ass? I open my eyes and blink against the darkness of the room, tugging at the rope holding my wrists behind my back. Because, the asshole hit me on the head, and when I woke up bam. There it was. I could have gone without seeing that man again my entire life, and I would have died a happy girl. But no. Nessa falls silent as a door opens in the corner, and light suddenly floods the room. Oh thank God, sunlight. I thought I'd gone blind. She huffs, leaning forward as far as her bindings will let her when the door slams shut again. I wish they'd make up their damn minds and stop teasing me. Teasing you? Nessa, We are tied up in a room in God only knows where, and you're upset about them teasing you with light. Believe it or not, it doesn't surprise me. Ness has always been afraid of the dark, so it's not that shocking that she's pouting about there being no light. Oh, shut up. And I happen to know where we are, thank you. She says nothing else. The only sound in the room is of all three of our breathing until I can't take it anymore. Well, where are we? If Nessa knows where we are, we aren't that far from her house, because the farthest she's ever gone is to Trevor and Duncan's house on the other side of town from where she lives. So that's a good thing, right? Geez, you don't have to holler. We are at Trevor's, aren't we, but Faceman's son. If it were a different time and situation completely, I would have found her nickname funny, but now it's just annoying me. What the hell did it matter what the guy looked like? Yes, we are in the basement. I glower towards the sound of his voice, wishing the lights were on so he could see me. Glaring at someone just seems pointless when they can't see it to appreciate it. I have a question. Who hit me? It felt like I got hit in the head with a baseball bat, and I really wanted to know who did so I knew who to hit later on. My dad. He thinks that by keeping you here he draw out your boyfriend. Even your dad said it wouldn't work, but Dad just doesn't believe him. Wait, my dad is here. My dad is helping them. What the hell? Has the man never heard of family loyalty? Perfect, my own father's in on this. Why I believed a word Trevor said I don't know, but I just couldn't bring myself to not believe him. What would he get out of lying to me? Because once I get out of here I'm kicking his ass either way. The ass could have warned me about what was going on, but he just kept it to himself and let his father kidnap me. Lying to me about my father wouldn't get him anywhere now. I don't know. Wait, you believe me? He sounds so shocked that I smile and then scowl at myself for it. Why do I believe him? Even though I don't think he'd have a reason to lie to me, doesn't he really have any reason to tell me the truth either? I shouldn't be listening to anything he says, until I can tell for myself whether or not he's lying. Of course she doesn't, bozo. Your father rattled her brain, that's it. Moron. You don't believe him, do you? Ari, you can't honestly believe your father would have something to do with this. You don't, do you? Well now, let's look at the facts here. My father hates Xavier, no matter how much he may try to convince me otherwise. When he first found out Xavier was even at the house, he said I should have let him die. So would it really be that surprising if my father did indeed have a hand in this? I can't honestly say it would surprise me. I don't know. My head is too jumbled to process any of this right now. It feels more like this is all just a really bad dream, and nothing more when I know it's not. This really and truly sounds like something my father would do. The door opens again, only this time 2 men wearing black masks walk in. The taller of the 2 walks over to me, pausing right in front of me. She the one. At the other man's nod he grabs my arm, tossing me over his shoulder, as he turns to walk out of the basement. Don't see what all the fuss is about, but whatever. Why the hell does his voice sound so familiar? He doesn't see what all the fuss is about. What the hell? If you don't see what all the fuss is about, then put me down. I shout, hitting wherever I can reach, which seems to be only the guy's ass. Come on, I won't tell anybody. He chuckles lowly, starting up a flight of stairs, making me bounce on his shed with every step. Oh, I think I might hurl. Sorry, Cupcake. Boss said to bring the girl upstairs, so I bring the girl upstairs. Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. Is he serious right now? If this isn't personal, then what is it? How can I not? You're trying to use me to get to Xavier, it's all personal. Dumbass. I squeak as he sets me on my feet, cringing away from his hand when he grabs my chin, forcing me to look into his eyes. Pissing me off will not get you anywhere, little girl. I'd be watching what I say, if I were you. The blue eyes staring back at me from behind the mask has my eyes narrowing in anger. What the hell are you doing here? I hiss at him under my breath, blinking at the man behind him that just stops and watches like nothing was going on. Like it was a normal occurrence, when it was anything but. At least, I didn't think it was a normal occurrence. Xander bats him blue eyes back at me innocently, tilting his head to the side. Well, see, my brother wanted me watch you at school today, just to make sure nothing happened to you. And it's a good thing I listened too, otherwise Marcos and I never would have never known you were taken. Xavier's not here, is he? If he was here then they'd get what they wanted. He couldn't be here. Not here per se, but he is close by. You didn't really think he wouldn't have prepared for something like this, did you? Did it even really matter what I thought about anything at this point? Things were just happening too fast and all so confusing that I'm not sure what I think, right now. He can't be, Xander, they only did this to get to what the hell do you think you're doing? Get the girl in here and get your sorry asses back to the basement before I rethink our contract. Trevor's father glares at Xander and his friend, pointing to the door he'd just walked out of. Forgive me, little girl. Xander picks me back up, throws me over his shoulder and carries me through the doorway, setting me down in a chair. He leans down, close to my ear, speaking so lowly that I'm sure no one else heard what he was saying. Behave, we've got a plan, just try not to piss them off too much, eh? No promises. I whisper back, fighting not to smile as he shakes his head at me, walking slowly out of the room, leaving me alone with Trevor's father and my own. Someone care to explain to me what the hell is going on? You mean you haven't figured it out? And here your father was so certain you were a smart little girl. He sighs sadly, picking up my cell phone from the desk beside him, holding it out to me slowly. Call you boyfriend. Chapter 17. Going home. My head is killing me when I wake up again, aching worse than a bad toothache. The world tilts on its axis when I try to push myself up from the chair, my stomach lurches, and I sink back down into my seat. Momentarily dazed from the nausea swirling through me, I don't notice at first Nessa's unconscious body laying on the floor at my feet. That is, I don't notice her until my foot catches on her stomach and I fall face first onto the floor over top her. Nessa. My voice sounds husky to my own ears, my throat dry and itchy from the lack of anything to drink. From where I am in the room the sky is pitch black out the window, clouds hiding the moon from lighting the shadows. What the hell happened? Last thing I remember was asking Trevor's father and my own why exactly they wanted Xavier, and everything after that is blank. Something must have happened for my head to be pounding the way it is. They must have done something to Nessa, and God only knows where Trevor is at the moment. Nessa, wake up. I shake her shoulder, reveling in the drawn-out groan she emits as she rolls over onto her back. Thank God. At least this way I know she's still alive, but it doesn't tell me what happened, or how we both ended up unconscious in the same room, when I'm pretty sure she was still in the basement. What happened? She groans loudly, again, blinking bleary eyes up at me. My head is killing me. Ari. Where's Trevor? I don't know. Do you know how you got up here? Staring around a pitch-black room looking for anything out of place really isn't as easy as they make it look in the movies. In fact, it's almost entirely impossible. The only thing I can make out is the odd shapes of, what I'm going to assume, is the furniture around us. For all I know we are not even in the same house anymore. We could be halfway across the country by now and Nessa, and I would have no idea, because we'd been out cold. Damn it, what the hell is wrong with these people? What kind of person kidnaps a guy's girlfriend if that's even what I am to Xavier just because the guy's not human? What kind of father lets some maniac kidnap his daughter? It's so ridiculous. This is something Nessa, Eva, and I would be laughing about if it were in some stupid horror movie. Do I look like I know how I got up here? And where is here anyway? Nessa sits up, pushing my hand off her shoulder roughly. The least they could do is turn on the damn lights. Grumbling under her breath about how inconsiderate our kidnappers were, she stumbled around me in a circle, before tripping over the chair behind me. Nessa, you're going to kill yourself doing this. Sit down. If I didn't know any better I'd swear she flipped me off, but it's so damn dark that I could be imagining things. Did you just flip me off? Why was it even that big of a deal? Maybe, but how would you know when it's so damn dark in here? She shouts the last part at the top of her lungs, blindly stumbling to find her way to the door. Or I think she was trying to make it to the door. Hello? Is anybody there? What the hell am I thinking? Of course there's someone there. You're just too big a coward to answer me. Nessa. If they are too much of a coward to answer you, then yelling isn't going to change anything. The only thing her yelling was doing was making my head hurt worse. It already felt like it was splitting in half. Did she really have to make it worse? Well, what do you suggest I do, huh? Sit there and wonder what they are planning on doing with us. Arianna, your father is in on this. How can you sit there so calmly when your father is trying to kill your boyfriend? Calm isn't exactly the word I would use, Ness. And secondly, we already know what they are going to do with us. Well, me. They are not gonna hurt us, they want to use me to get to Xavier. They can't do that if they hurt any of us. Hurting Nessa or Trevor would only make me less cooperative, they had to know that. They also had to know that I wouldn't call Xavier to get himself killed just to save my own ass. So what was the point? Trevor's father had to know Xavier would have some kind of plan for this, didn't he? Even in the dark I can see Nessa shaking her blonde head. She walks, hands held out in front of her, back towards me, stopping only when her hand bumps into the top of my head. You don't know that. Sure, they said they wouldn't hurt me or Trevor if you did what he asked, but how do you know he's not lying? And even if you do cooperate, they are going to kill Xavier. I know, but what am I supposed to do? If I don't listen they hurt you and Trevor, if I do listen they hurt Xavier. I'm kinda fucked here, Nessa. And not in any way that I'd enjoy. Xander said they had a plan, but he hadn't elaborated. How am I supposed to know whichever I chose to do won't mess with this plan? I'm lost and I really wish my dad wasn't helping the psycho, so he could tell me what to do. He always knew what to do no matter what problem I had, or how screwed up my relationship with him is. Every time I needed advice my dad was always the one I'd go to. And now I can't. So what do we do? Nessa sits back down, wrapping her arms around me in a hug. We can't just sit here and do nothing. You think I don't know that? Nessa, if I knew what we could do I'd tell you, but I don't know. I pause to bite my lip as I consider whether or not I should tell her about Xander being here. Do I tell her or am I supposed to keep quiet about it? Ness, do you remember Xavier's brother? Nessa nods, her chin rubbing across the top of my head. Yeah, that Xander guy, right. He's hot, totally drool-worthy, but what does that have to do with the situation now? I sit straighter, moving my lips to her ear, just in case there was some way we were being monitored. He's here and he says they've got a plan. What? Nessa jerks back, hands cupping my cheeks. Are you serious? You knew that and you're just telling me this now. What the hell? My hand covers her mouth quickly, cutting off the rest of her sentence. Why did it have to be now that I forget she's got such a big mouth? Shut up. I didn't tell you because I was unconscious, dummy. Now will you be quiet? She nods, so I move my hand from her mouth, planning on telling her everything I know when the door opens and the lights come on. Are you two done cuddling, or do I need to give you a couple more minutes? Xander's dark head tilts to the side, eyes dancing with amusement as he watches us. Oh my God. You have no idea how glad I am to see you. Nessa jumps up and runs at him, arms wrapping around his shoulders, as she kisses all around his face. You are the most beautiful thing ever. She plants a kiss directly on his lips, shocking not only him but herself as well, if the way she jumps back from him as soon as she did is anything to go by. Xander smiles widely, truthfully at her. Damn, I think I like her. Come on, we gotta get you two outta here before shit goes down. Otherwise Xavier is going to kill my ass. Xander blushes when Nessa kisses his cheek before skipping out of the room. That's simple. We just walk out of here. Seriously. They went through all this trouble to kidnap us, and it's as easy as walking out the door for us to get away. Is it just me or does that seem a little off? Xander shrugs, scratching the back of his neck. They left a couple of hours ago to find my brother, since you wouldn't call him. Seeing as how they don't know who I am, they left me here to watch the two of you. If you hurry, then yes, it will be that simple. But the longer you sit there and glare at me, the less likely it is we'll be able to get out before they come back. Yeah, make it sound like it's my fault. Ass? Rolling my eyes, I accept his hand to pull me to my feet and walk towards the door, pausing with one foot in the hall. What do you mean, two of you? Where's Trevor? They took him with them. He avoids meeting my gaze, eyes bouncing all around the walls. Where? Trevor may be the son of the man who wants to kill my boyfriend, but that doesn't mean I want anything to happen to him. Especially not because of me. He sighs, giving me a slight push forward. I don't know where exactly, but your father seemed to think he knew where to look for Xavier. I wasn't in on that meeting because I was contacting my brother. Look, all I know is that he was alive when they left. Well, that was a good thing, right? At least I know he was alive a couple of hours ago. Doesn't make me feel any better now. But it's something. Where's Xavier? My heels dig into the carpet beneath my feet as he pushes me forward and he groans. If you would stop being so damn stubborn and walk, then you'd see. I'm not being stubborn. You're being an ass. His cheeks puff out as he takes a deep breath, and as his eyes dart towards something over my shoulder he sighs, letting it out slowly. You're right, I'm an ass and you're a bitch. But thankfully, you're my brother's responsibility, not mine. He grins over my shoulder. Good luck. Frowning, I turn and blink. Xavier. How long had it been since I'd seen him? A day, maybe two. God, it felt like forever, and I almost couldn't believe I was seeing him, or the person standing next to him. Tessa. What are you doing here? My red-headed sister-in-law chews her bottom lip nervously, before giving me a little smile. Hi, Ari. I can explain all of this, but first we really need to get going. Going where? Without thinking about it, I'd walked the space separating Xavier and I, and was wrapped in his arms. It was nice, it felt like coming home, but my mind was a whirl of confusion. What the hell was Tessa doing here? Home, love. We are going home. Xavier kisses the top of my head, hugging me to him tightly. All will be explained soon, but for now Tessa is right, we need to get moving. Wait, how do you two know each other? What am I missing? Arianna, honey, we need to go. I promise, Sean and I will explain everything when we get home, but right now, please, trust me. Tessa grabs my hand, tugging me forward. We need to hurry before they get back. But they have Trevor. My protest fell on deaf ears as they ushered Nessa and I down the hall towards the top of the stairs. Hello. They have Trevor. Trevor and I have our differences, sure, but he's still one of my closest friends. His father's a crazy man, obviously. Just because Trevor's his son doesn't mean he'll be safe with him. Tessa sighs, pressing a kiss to the side of my head. Trevor's fine, I promise. Right now, we have about 20 minutes before they get back. Sean's with them, he'll call if something happens. Actually, dearies, I'm afraid Sean won't be calling anyone anytime soon. Xavier puts me behind him and Xander does the same with Nessa at the sound of Trevor's father's voice. I peek around Xavier's shed and gasp at the sight of my brother battered and blooded at his feet. Sean. Tessa whimpers slightly when Sean's head lolls to the side. She moves forward down 2 steps before freezing when a gunshot rings out, the bullet taking out a chunk of stair by her feet. Stay right where you are and he stays alive. Anyone moves and Sean goes night-night permanently. Got it? Trevor's father smirks maniacally when she nods, eyes zeroing in on her rounded tummy. You're pregnant. You forgot to mention that, Joseph. He murmurs lowly, shooting my father a dangerous glare. Momentarily slipped my mind. He swallowed nervously, flicking a concerned glance towards Sean. Did it? Or did you purposely forget to mention it? Xavier shifts in front of me when the attention moves from us towards my father, and my hands grip the back of his shirt. Whatever he's thinking, I've got a feeling I won't like it. My father's eyes narrow, flickering briefly, again, to my unconscious brother. Now why would you think that? She's one of them, why would I keep her pregnancy to myself? He puts his hands on his hips. I'm trying to help you here, Mike. Do you think this is easy for me, knowing both my children are in love with those animals? Mike shrugs, the hand holding his gun raising slowly. You tell me. You're the one protecting them. Tell me, old friend, where does your allegiance lay? Right where it always has. Sean stands just as Mike's finger tightens on the trigger. With my children. Mike's gun goes off as Sean wraps his arms around the other man's, tossing him to the side. Blood instantly starts pouring out of the hole in my father's chest, gathering on his shirt. His eyes seem to go completely blank, as he crumples to a lifeless pile on the floor. Daddy. Everything goes by in a blur after that, but I somehow find myself on my knees in a pool of my father's blood with his head in my lap. I can't stop the tears as they fall freely from my eyes, nor I can stop the sobs from racking my body. No, 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 no. Daddy. Part of me almost expects him to get up and say that he's okay. The thought keeps running through my mind that he'll wake up, that maybe I'll wake up in my bed to find this all had been nothing more than a dream. Only, no matter how many times I closed and opened my eyes, it never happened. I wasn't going to wake up in my bed to a new day, and my dad scowling at the pile of dishes in the sink. I wouldn't get to argue with him about boys, or where I was planning on going to college, or what I'd be majoring in. There'd be no more awkward conversations over dinner. Or anything. He just wasn't going to wake up. A pair of arms circle my waist from behind, and lift me away from his body, and it takes me a moment to realize that the long, drawn-out cry echoing around the suddenly quiet room is my own. Xavier whispers quietly in my ear as he lifts me into his arms, cradling me like a baby. It isn't until he turns and I can no longer see my father's body that I realize that he's moving towards the front door. No, put me down. I'm not going put me down. I twist and squirm, trying to force him to put me down to no avail. We have to go, sweet. Xander's bringing your father, he won't be left behind. He brushes the hair from my face, sympathy and tears shining in his eyes. Let me take you home, love. He was helping you. My father wasn't a horrible person hell-bent on murdering Xavier. He'd given his life to protect Sean and I, as well as those we love. Xavier nods, lips brushing across my forehead as he speaks. Yes, your father was doing all he could to help us. He just couldn't tell you, love. You and your brother meant the world to him. Sean comes up to stand beside us, a sad little smile crossing his lips. Let's go home, Ari. Okay, Going home wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but I didn't argue. Burying my head in the crook of Xavier's neck, I inhaled his scent and almost immediately fell asleep. The longer I slept, the longer I could pretend like my father was still alive. I could pretend for just a little while, couldn't I? Chapter 18. Together. Are you okay? Tessa asks quietly, putting the lid down on the toilet to sit. You sure you want to do this now? No one would blame you if you don't. It's completely normal till it's fine, Tess. It's been 2 months. I can't stay in bed forever. Besides, it's my graduation. How can I not go? It wasn't that I didn't want to go, it was more the fact that I was avoiding Trevor. 2 months have passed since his father murdered mine, and I think we've both been wary of the confrontation coming after that. I mean, what do you say to a person after that? It's not like there's some rule book on how the conversation is supposed to go. Believe me, I've looked. I'm not talking about Trevor and graduation, Ari. I'm talking about you and Xavier moving in together. Not only will you be away from the only home you've ever had, but you'll be learning what pack life is about. Are you sure you want to do this now? You'll start in college, that's going to be a lot by itself. I'm never going to be ready for pack life, Tess. I love Xavier, though. This is what I want. I wouldn't be doing it unless I was positive. Besides, it'll be kinda hard to have the mating ceremony if we're not living together, right? She beams at me, standing to give me an awkward hug around her distended belly. So you mean, he asked. Finally, I thought he'd keep talking himself out of it. So did I. It would have been funny to watch him make himself so nervous about what my reaction would be to his asking me to marry him, if he'd still slept in the same bed with me while he was doing it. It's kinda hard to find anything amusing when you can't sleep at night. But it was still amusing to have him stutter his way through the proposal until Xander called him a wimp and threatened to do it himself. How long did it take him to get the words out? Tessa asks, chuckling to herself when the sound of the front door slamming echoes throughout the house. Arianna. Nessa shouts, stomping her way up the stairs towards my bedroom. In here, Ness? I stick my head out the bathroom door, grinning at the almost normalcy of today. I don't know how long it took him. I was too shocked to pay attention to anything but him. So technically Xavier's all I seem to pay attention to anymore, but can you blame me? Yeah, he's never been very good at professing his undying love. Tessa laughs, wincing when Nessa slams my bedroom door shut. Honey, leave the door on its hinges, would ya? Nessa scowls at her as she leans against the bathroom doorway. Tessa, you're going to be short one brother soon. She sniffs disdainfully, shooting me a little frown. Are you not ready yet? No, I'm not. So why don't you tell us all about why you're planning murder? Huh? It's not really that surprising to hear her say she wants to murder Xander, seeing as how she says it just about every day. For the past 2 months she and Xander have either been as lovey-dovey as Xavier and I, or at each other's throats. It's really getting kinda annoying. I just wanna bang their heads together and tell them to make up their minds. That ass. Did you know he's leaving with you guys when you move and that I'm going with him? Nessa sighs, scratching the tip of her nose. So, isn't that what you wanted? It's all she's talked about since I decided on moving with Xavier after I graduate. I mean, we all knew Xander would come with us, but no one ever really factored in Nessa and her being his mate, though. Had she changed her mind? Yes? No? I don't know. She chews on her bottom lip, looking absolutely helpless. I thought I did, but he didn't even ask me. No, he just came in this morning and said to pack my bags because we are moving. Who does that? She cried incredulously. Xander. I offer, smiling innocently when she glowers at me. What? You asked, so I answered. I mutter and stick my tongue out at her, At least you don't have to worry about whether an entire pack of werewolves is going to like you or not. My biggest fear about moving isn't being in a new town and not knowing anyone around me. No, my biggest fear is that the pack Xavier is wanting to join won't like me and that I'll end up dead in a ditch somewhere. Or somehow end up as a snack. Nessa's eyes narrow on my left hand as I pull my hair back. She pulls my hand away from my head, ignoring me when I try to tug my hand back. Oh my, he did it. She grins at me, jumping up and down in place before shoving my hand under Tessa's nose. Did you see this? He did it. I can't believe he did it. Tessa cocks her head to the side, echoing the amused grin on my face with one of her own. You know, I think she's more excited than you are, and she's not even the one getting married. Nessa pouts at her. Can't I be excited for my best friend? It's not every day you find out she's getting married, you know. She pauses, brow furrowing in confusion for a moment. Wait, are you guys getting married? Or are you just doing a mating ceremony? Both? From what I've been told, which isn't that much, the mating ceremony is basically the pack's version of a wedding, only more complicated. Tessa and Sean have tried to explain it to me, but I get kinda lost the first 5 minutes into their description of what will happen. It really doesn't help when Xavier's in the room distracting me. Have you told Eva yet? I shake my head no and ignore the probing look on Nessa's face. She and Duncan haven't come out of hibernation yet. That relationship was one I hadn't seen coming, but it seems to be good for them both. Eva puts up with his weird pervertedness, and he handles her controlling moods like they are nothing to be worried about. What about Trevor? They are avoiding one another. Xavier murmurs quietly from behind Nessa, smiling when she jumps and squeaks in surprise. Don't do that. Arianna, tell him to quit doing that. I would, but I really don't want to. It's funny. He does it to me too, so it's only fair that he scares Nessa as well. Are you ready to go? Somehow it seems like he's asking about more than just graduation. As ready as I'll ever be. I mutter, putting on a fake smile that I'm sure didn't fool anyone. I couldn't even force myself to put more into it. I've known Nessa since I was little. Tessa knows me better than even her, and Xavier knows every mood I could possibly have already. Lying to any of them is pointless, but it's a reflex. Tessa and Nessa, wow, that sounds funny, quietly excuse themselves from the bathroom, probably thinking they were doing me a favor in granting me private time with Xavier. I probably wouldn't be complaining on any other day, but I just want today to be done and over with, and Xavier just wants to talk about it. Are you all right? He wraps me in his arms the minute we are alone, cradling my head against his chest. The sound of his heart beating strong and sure against my ear is usually enough to lull me into sleep, but not today. I'm fine. Just peachy. Is it just me, or does my voice sound slightly hysterical? Oh Lord, I think I might be losing my mind after all. Just peachy. He questions carefully, pulling away to look me in the eye. We do not have to move, you know that, right? If you are not ready to let, I'm fine, really. I just need to finish getting dressed. Is it a bad sign that I just now realized I've been walking around in my bra and underwear all morning? It is a bad sign, isn't it? Silently wondering if I may actually be going insane, I walk around Xavier and into my room in a daze. My body is on autopilot as I dress in the clothes Tessa had picked out for me, barely noticing the fact that it was just a plain t-shirt and shorts combo. Any other time I'd be griping and moaning about her practicing for motherhood on me, again, but it's partly a relief that I won't have to concentrate on anything long enough to pick something out. If I could, I think I'd have just gone in my birthday suit, and wouldn't that have gone over well with everyone there? Arianna. Xavier murmuring my name quietly makes me realize I'd been standing in the middle of the room just staring. Love? We are not coming back, are we? My bottom lip quivers at the thought of never seeing this house again. Never being in my own room again after today. Could I really go through with this? Xavier shakes his head, watching me cautiously from the bathroom doorway. It will not be safe after the Arianna. Are you positive you wish to do this now? I shake my head, as a tear trails slowly down my cheek. I don't know. It kinda all just him, you know. He nods, even though I'm not even sure he does know, and I choke out a laugh at the helpless expression on his face. Everything would be changing after today. Xavier and I were moving up north to the pack Tessa and Sean are already a part of. We are getting mated, and after the mating ceremony, they are telling me it won't be safe to come back here. I'll never be able to come home again, and that terrified me more than anything. I just didn't know how to say it. The move can wait. We can wait until you are ready. He was making a huge sacrifice for me in even offering, and I knew it. Xavier wanted to be with others of his own kind where he knew it would be safe. He wanted to be able to shift something he hadn't done in over 2 months and run free, without the threat of being shot and killed. How could I keep that freedom from him? What if I'm never ready? Was it even fair of me to ask him to stay here with me while I made up my mind? Then we will stay. His confident declaration has me staring back at him in shock. The ceremonies will go on as planned, that is, unless that is what has you so nervous. No. It wasn't that, it was never him, just everything else. He couldn't think I didn't want to be with him. He nods, then we will stay. The ceremonies will go on as planned, just with a change in location. He'd moved as he spoke, standing just a few inches away from me as he cupped my cheek with one hand, the other wrapping around the back of my neck. But, you said it wouldn't be safe. Couldn't he ask him to stay somewhere where someone would always be trying to kill him? I will make it safe, if this is what you want. If you wish to remain here, I will do everything I have to make it safe here for us. He promised, like it was nothing to be concerned about. Why are you doing this? I whisper, turning my head to kiss the palm of his hand. Xavier frowns. What am I doing? This, everything. Why are you willing to stay here with me when you clearly want to rejoin a pack of your own kind? Werewolves are pack creatures by instinct. A pack is stronger, better able to protect. It's not just that. You said yourself, you want to go home, Xavier. But you'll stay here with me, you'll make it safe for us to stay here, just because it's what I want. No other person I know would do anything like this, why would he? He cradles my head in both hands, staring me directly in the eye as he speaks. You are my mate. Your happiness means everything to me. I will do everything in my power to make you happy for as long as I live. When I said I wanted to go home, I was not referring to any specific location. Wherever you are is where I wish to be. Being with you is home for me, love. He kisses me shortly, sweetly, and my eyes fill with tears again. Stop it. I slap his hand away and step back, wiping the tears from my eyes before they can fall. Just stop it right now. I point a finger at him, taking another step back. Are you angry with me? He asks, confused. Was I? Yes. He frowns. No. I frown and his head tilts to the side. I don't know. Gar, this is so confusing. I apologize for whatever it is I said to upset you. From the look on his face, he doesn't know what he said to upset me, and to be honest, I don't know either. All right. No. No. I swear that's amusement dancing in his eyes. Is he's not laughing at me? Is he? Are you laughing at me? Incredulity takes over whatever had upset me a moment before as his shoulders start shaking with barely restrained laughter. No, of course not, sweet. Are you ready to go? That jerk. He is so. Yes, you are. You're laughing at me. My eyes narrow and I put my hands on my hips. Why? Xavier sighs, looking away when a smile has his lips twitching. I am not laughing at you, love. I promise. Now, if we do not hurry, we will be late for your graduation. I shake my head at the hand he holds out for me to take. No, I'm not going anywhere with you until you telling me why you're laughing. Personally, I didn't see how any of this was funny, but boy brains are wired differently. I wonder if that counts for werewolf boys too. Arianna, the warning in his voice goes unnoticed as I shake my head again, and the next thing I know he's thrown me over his shoulder, and is carrying me out of the room and down the stairs without a care in the world. Xavier. Xavier, you put me down right now. He's never done anything like this before. Hell, he treats me like I'll break most of the time. What's changed? Xavier. He ignores me, giving my brother, his wife and my so-called best friend a little wave as we pass them in the hall. I hate you. Cheater. He chuckles softly as he walks out the front door, patting my butt. And I love you as well, darling. Despite the anger I'm sure I'm supposed to be feeling at the moment, I find myself smiling because it just feels right to do so. Ooh, when I get my hands on him he is so dead. Chapter 19, the beginning of Forever Xavier. I squeak, I'll admit it, rushing to hide behind the closet door, pulling the train of my wedding dress behind it with me as I do. What are you doing here? He, Xander, and my brother, Sean, had all gone out hunting just a little while ago. Which is the only reason Tessa had allowed me to try on the dress she'd been making alterations on for the past month. I doubt she'll be happy knowing he'd come close to seeing it. Again. Xavier's head tilts to the side, a frown pulling at the corners of his mouth. Your brother threatened to murder me. He did. I blink at the sight of the bare, tanned expanse of his chest, unhidden by the unbuttoned shirt he wore. My mouth goes dry and I suddenly have the very strong urge to grab the bottle of chocolate syrup from the fridge downstairs and pour it all over his chest. Just so I can lick it all off and do it again. Yummy. Xavier nods, eyes darkening when he notices where my attention is currently directed. He seems to be under the impression that I am going to leave you standing alone at the altar. Yep, definitely sounds like my brother. He licks his lips as he steps forward, eyes locked on my own mouth. No. Don't come any closer. I shout, holding my palm out to stop him from coming any closer. Damn it, if he keeps looking at me like that I'm gonna forget that I have my wedding dress on and just let him do whatever he wants. Where the hell is Tessa when I need her? Why? He frowns again, putting his hands on his hips as he freezes in the middle of our new bedroom. I've got my dress on. You can't see it, it's bad luck. Not that I really minded all that much if he did see it, but Tessa's worked so hard on it and I just don't have the heart to spoil her fun. He'll get to see it soon enough. I could wait a little longer to see his reaction. His frown deepens as he cocks an eyebrow at me. I thought you did not believe in those superstitions. I don't, but I want it to be a surprise. He sighs, looking a little pained as his eyelids flutter closed. Please. Fine, but tomorrow your brother will not be able to keep me from my own mate, Arianna. Being kept away from you like this is pure torture. He pouted, the distinct whine in his voice making me smile. If he tries, I'll shoot him myself. He smiles back at me before taking another cautious step forward. Am I allowed to have a kiss before I leave? Or must I wait? I chew on my lip as I consider it. Kissing him wouldn't be wise, because I doubt either of us will be able to control ourselves once we got started. But denying him anything has never been one of my strong suits. I nod. One kiss and then you have to go before Tessa sees you. My sister-in-law would be likely to make me a widow before I'm even married if she did, but it was worth the risk. No peeking. I warn, pointing at him as he takes another step forward. No peeking, he promised, cupping my cheeks with both hands. His breath washed over my face as he leaned forward slowly, pressing a gingerly kiss on my forehead before his lips skim across my face, slowly making their way to my own. His lips cover mine gently, at first, as his hands run down to cup the back of my neck, urging me around the closet door. His tongue runs across my bottom lip and I moan, pouting in frustration, when he suddenly jerks away. That was just a tease. I frown at him, wrinkling my nose in confusion when he rubs the back of his head. Xavier. Get out. Tessa whacks him in the head, again I suppose, with a wooden spoon before shoving him towards the door. You know you're not supposed to be in here when she's got her dress on. Xavier stands there for a minute, lifting his upper lip in a snarl at her. But Tessa, being Tessa, just doesn't notice or care enough to find him threatening. Out? I will see you in the morning, love. He gives me a soft smile, and after shooting Tessa one last glower walks back out the door. I sigh, wistfully as I watch him go, not bothering to hide the fact that I'm staring at his ass in his muddy jeans as he walks. What on earth were you thinking? I thought you wanted this dress to be a surprise. Tessa frowned, checking the dress for any dirt smudges, as she ushered me out of the closet. I do. I mumble and then grin, when I think about saying those two words tomorrow. Tessa rolls her eyes at me. Wipe that dreamy grin off your face and get out of that dress before you ruin my masterpiece. I blink and stretch my arm behind my back to the zipper only to realize that I can't reach it. Ah, that's easier said than done. I grin sheepishly at the scowl on her face. Help me. Goodness, you're both hopeless. You know, Sean told me Xavier put his jeans on backwards this morning. Can you just imagine what he'll be like in the morning? I giggle. I could just see him putting something on backwards. Didn't Sean forget to wear socks? Tessa nods, laughing loudly as she helps me step out of the dress in the heels she'd picked out for me. Yep, that and the dummy forgot to brush his teeth. Talk about some dog breath. Her nose wrinkled as she laughed, poking me in the side as our laughter slowly died down. Are you nervous at all? I don't think so, no. I'd thought that I would be scared to death when the day finally got here, but I can't find it in me to be nervous. I've never been happier in my life, I've never wanted anything more in my life. A million different things could go wrong tomorrow, but as long as I get to marry Xavier, then it wouldn't matter. I don't see how anything could ruin the high I'm on now. I love him, Tess. I want to spend the rest of my life with him. I can see that. I felt the same way when I married your brother, but even I was nervous. I was so scared I'd end up tripping over my own 2 feet, or screwing up my lines, or something else would go wrong. She tilted her head to the side, watching me in the mirror, as I pulled my hair up into a bun. Something did go wrong, remember? I ask her, grimacing at the memory of that day. Yes, but I got the man of my dreams for the rest of my natural-born life. The day wasn't perfect, but it didn't have to be. She shrugs, zipping the dress back up into its bag before placing it back in the closet. My dad hadn't been invited to Tess and Sean's wedding. He hadn't wanted to come, and he'd made that known every time anyone ever brought it up. Sean had come down a couple nights before the wedding to get me, and I'd planned on staying with them for a couple weeks afterwards as well. No one knew my father had intended on crashing the wedding, and no one had expected the fight that had broken out between my brother and father because of that. That was why they hadn't spoken in so long, but they seemed to have made up sometime before my father was killed. When they had, I don't know, but I'm glad they'd had the chance. Tomorrow's gonna be the happiest day of your life, no matter what. I'm glad my brother found someone as terrific as you. And I know he'll treat you right. Sean's already threatened to kill him if he didn't. Yeah, he told me about that. Tomorrow was going to be perfect. Nothing was gonna go wrong. Tessa had everything planned out to the T. Now I just had to worry about now tripping or messing up my lines when the time came. My palms had started sweating the minute I woke up. The butterflies in my stomach weren't there when I'd ate breakfast, but the minute I'd slipped into the dress Xander had given me I felt like there were thousands of them fluttering around in my tummy. I was shaking, though I'm sure I was the only one to notice, and I couldn't get enough saliva in my mouth. "You okay, honey?" Tessa patted my arm as she finished pulling my hair up into some intricate design that I didn't know the name of. My makeup was done, but it was a wonder it all hadn't come off by now with how badly I felt like I was sweating. "Yeah, just nerves I guess." I give her a shaky smile, tilting my head to the side at Sean's disgruntled look when he steps into the room. "What's the matter with you?" He scowls at me. How the hell am I supposed to hate the guy when he goes and does shit like this, huh? The bewildered expression on my face has Tessa laughing slightly. Xavier bought him a new set of golf clubs. She grins at her husband's low, frustrated growl, handing me a blue sapphire necklace. "The dress is something old, your earrings are something new. This necklace was my mother's, so that's something borrowed and blue. Are you two just gonna ignore me?" Sean cried, faking hurt when Tessa blinks up at me. "Did you hear something?" She giggles when Sean grabs her around the waist, planting a loud kiss on her cheek. "Is everything ready?" My brother nods. "Yep, just waiting on the bride-to-be." Tessa nods, watching me carefully. "You ready?" I swallow, hesitating for a moment before I nod. "You'll be fine, today's going to be perfect. Don't worry." She gives me a light hug, turns and waddles out of the room. Sean holds his arm out for me to take. "You ready, sis?" He grins at my frightened expression when I loop my arm through his. "You look beautiful, Ari. Dad would be so proud of you." Tears flood my eyes and I choke out a laugh. "Proud of me for marrying a dog?" Sean sighed and kissed the side of my head as he guided me out of the room. You know that's not really how he saw them. Even if he didn't like what Xavier is, he had to have known he'd make you happy. He's not afraid to tell you no, he's good to you even when you're a bitch. And I've never seen you smile so much. He loves you a lot, Ari. As much as I hate to say it, he's a good guy. Coming from Sean, they were the best words I'd ever heard. He and Xavier didn't see eye to eye and I doubted they ever would. Sean said it was because he'd always assumed he'd be able to beat up my future husband, but I think it's just because they are so much alike. Thank you, Sean. He kisses my cheek one last time, as the music starts to play, and I'm shocked to find that the butterflies are no longer in my stomach. Ready? I nod, looking around the pillars in the yard for Xavier to no avail. I'm just too damn short. You'll see him in a minute. He guides me down the white rose petals Tessa had laid out on the ground, walking much too slowly for my tastes. My mouth starts watering, yet feels dry at the same time the minute my eyes land on Xavier. The sight of him in the black, tailored suit, eyes searching only for me, took my breath away. His hair, which he'd grown out over the past couple of months per my request, was slicked back from his face. A wide grin was plastered on his face and his dark blue eyes seemed to glow the closer I got. I didn't even hear what the alpha was saying when Sean handed me over to him, the blood rushing to my ears too loud for me to hear anything else. But when Xavier leaned down to whisper in my ear, as he turned us to face the man marrying us, I heard him loud and clear. My mother's dress. He sounded just as breathless as I felt and my confidence rose. The knowledge that I affected him the same as he affected me was incredibly satisfying. You like it? Even I could hear the nervousness in my voice. When Xander had given me the dress and suggested wearing it today, I hadn't known what to say. It had been beautiful even before Tessa had started making her alterations, but it hadn't been my taste. Xander had told me to change it however I saw fit, that their mother would have wanted me to wear it. The only thing that had me hesitating at the time was the thought of what Xavier would think. I was still terrified of what he would think. I love it. You look incredible. I pull away to see if he's telling the truth, and the smile on his face has my breath stalling in my throat. Shall we get started, or would you two like some alone time first? I flush bright red as this question is met with loud laughter from the crowd behind us and bury my head in Xavier's arm. Now you all know why we are here today, so I'm just gonna get to so I can get back to my mate and children. Xavier laughs, wrapping his arm around my waist as the alpha starts talking. The words go in one ear and right out the other as he talks, and I really was trying to pay attention. But standing there with Xavier, breathing in his scent, it was just so damn hard to concentrate. All I knew was that the alpha was going through the regular human wedding ceremony first, and after would do the necessary werewolf vows so the pack would recognize us as mates. We said the appropriate I do's, and thankfully I did so without stuttering or blushing like an idiot. He didn't tell Xavier he could kiss the bride, not that stopped my new husband from doing so, but as Xavier was kissing me, the alpha's mate came to stand before, smiling with tears shining in her eyes. She smiled brightly at me. Arianna, repeat after me. I, Arianna, take this man as my mate. To be forever bound to him and only him. Mind, body and soul. My soul is his and his soul is mine. The words were said with a slight Australian accent, and I concentrated for a moment before speaking, just so I would stumble over the words. I, Arianna, take this man as my mate. To be forever bound to him and only him. Mind, body and soul. My soul is his and his soul is mine. Xavier cut her off, saying the exact words I had, only changing them slightly. I, Xavier, take this woman as my mate. To be forever bound to her and only her. Mind, body and soul. My soul is hers and her soul is mine. The alpha and his mate smiled broadly at his eagerness. You may kiss your bride. As soon as the words were out of his mouth, Xavier had me wrapped in his arms, pulling me tightly to his chest as his lips covered mine. The rest of the world melted away, the cheers and applause, even the sound of my brother complaining rather loudly disappeared from my mind as the usual sparks started in the tips of my toes and spread to my fingertips. I love you. His breathing was as rough as mine when he pulled away. I love you too, baby. Forever. He pressed his mouth to my forehead, holding me tightly to him. Forever just sounded like the best idea ever. If you enjoy these supernatural secrets, don't forget to subscribe to us. More exciting content is about to be revealed.